2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. Hey, happy midweek celebration. Greatest day of the entire week. We got a lot to talk about today. Plus, Rachel Ehrenfeld will be on the program. It's been a while since we've had her on. She is the author of the book, The Soros Agenda. We'll chat with her about some dark money in the deep state. Are they being exposed? And what do we do about it? We'll get to some of that in a heck of a lot more. Plus, Donald Trump holding an event at the White House earlier today for Black History Month. And Zohran Mamdani making some changes in the New York City budget. Yeah, we'll get to all that and more. Make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing for the midweek. Hang tight.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your midweek celebration. Greatest day of the entire week. Your post Monday, your pre-Friday. You see the light at the end of the tunnel, but yet you don't want it to be here. Why? Because we just carpe diem all over this place each and every day, and it is so great to have you along for the ride today. Plenty to talk about. There is a lot going on in Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump holding an event earlier today. We have some shenanigans going out of New York City. We have global issues. Just a typical day in 2026, and we're going to cover as much of it as we can here on the program as usual. As first and foremost, welcome into it. It is the Voice of Reason. My name's Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station. But we are all over the country and growing every day with great radio affiliates across the board. Welcome aboard. Doing our thing. Yeah, that's right. Doing our thing here each and every day. And of course, for a Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
I know, and I know you were excited about that. Bottom of the hour, we have Rachel Ehrenfeld on the program. She is the author of the book, The Soros Agenda. We will chat with her about deep, dark, fake money and what the heck the deep state's doing. Are we exposing the deep state? Can we expose them more? Are we getting more transparency in government? And what the heck's going on with some of the pushback against the Trump administration? Not just here in the country, but of course globally. So we'll chat with her about that in just a little bit. But first and foremost, if you want to find us on our website, you can at HooserReason.com, our social media, our podcast, and a heck of a lot more. Let's get into what's trending.
What's trending today?
Now, I will be the first to admit, I have not talked about this issue at all for the month of February, and I just don't. And there's a particular reason for it. Because it is, for those that don't know, it is Black History Month. I have not mentioned Black History Month on the program just because when it comes to this recognition, that recognition, this appreciation, that appreciation, this History Month, I just don't do it. I don't do the politics, or I don't do the policy. I don't do the identity politics, and I really don't like to focus on the identity because I just really don't care. I just don't care about identity politics.
We don't care anymore.
Yeah, I kind of take the term of Morgan Freeman. If you remember when he was on, I don't even know what show it was years ago, and they said, well, why don't you celebrate Black History Month? And he's like, how are we going to get rid of racism? You stop talking about race. You just stop it. That doesn't mean that you get rid of culture. That doesn't mean you get rid of your history. That doesn't mean you get rid of, what your people have been through, or the culture, or the traditions, or the food, or the language, or whatever. You don't get rid of it. You just don't make that your entire identity. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. America's a melting pot. There are a lot of different ancestors here. There are a lot of different ancestry lines and different lineages and different places from around the world that people come from. And we appreciate that. And that's why we're the melting pot and why we're the greatest nation on the face of the earth. But to make that who you are is to put that in your little box and you just sit nicely in that little... I just don't do it. So I haven't talked about Black History Month, but it does lead to President Donald Trump holding his first event today, showcasing Black History Month, where he was kind of excited to do so for sure, and held that at the White House just a little while ago.
But we thank God for the strength and courage and grit and devotion of Black Americans who have helped make America the most powerful country in the history of the world.
Yeah, now remember, I want to preface this by saying that you got to remember, this is at a time when the progressive Democrats are just, spewing the vile hatred against Donald Trump, and every term in the book is thrown at him. He's a fascist, he's a Nazi, he's a racist, he's a homophobe, he's an Islamophobe, whatever. Throw in the derogatory term, whatever, because that's just what they do. I mean, they're very emotional. They're very angry, and therefore Donald Trump is literally the worst person on the face of the earth. He is identical to Hitler, according to many, which is just laughable. It's stupid, it's irrational, it's hyperbolic, but guess what? That's what you get when you have your elected officials telling you that's what you should be feeling right now, because Donald Trump has overwhelmingly done more for minority populations, including the Black communities, than any other president in really modern American history.
This president right here, as you look out upon this sea of Black Americans, this president hears you. This president cares for you. Don't let anyone tell you that this president right here, Donald Trump, is not for Black America, because he is.
Okay, before we go further, by the way, that is Alice Johnson. She works for the Trump administration. She is the pardon czar. I was today years old when I found out that we actually had a pardons czar. The ones that actually decide who's going to get pardoned under an administration. I knew that there was some group of people being like, hey, Mr. President, you should probably pardon this person. I had no clue who that was. And now we found out it's Alice Johnson, and she's a Black individual who's working for the Trump administration, and she's doing so willingly, not being a slave to the evil, racist, slave-supporting Donald Trump, because I'm sure that's the derogatory term we're hearing today.
I'm standing here today as a testament to how he feels about Black Americans. There has never been a position like this. I don't know if there ever will be before. But I worked with him in his first term, and I'm proud to now officially have the title to make it happen. Let's get real with the realness. Let's get behind President Trump, who truly has turned our nation around and made us the envy of every country in the world. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, God, for recognizing and raising up this man to be the leader of the free world. I love you.
All right, so there it is. Alice Johnson, she is the pardon czar for the Trump administration, hyping him up during an event for Black History Month, which is really kind of neat. Now, again, I don't focus on the identity politics. I don't really care about this historical month, this awareness, whatever, because to me, that shallows and makes it very shallow of the conversation that we can have about real history, and we need to learn real history. I want to learn about Black history. I want to learn about Asian history. I want to learn about Native American history. I want to learn about all of it, but we don't need to do it in a way to showcase it and say, this is my entire identity and who I am, because then you lose your individualism for the collectivism. And you know how well that works out in a society when you focus on collectivism over individualism. But I think it's a great opportunity for us for just a moment to really focus on the difference when you showcase different groups, different mindsets, different communities, we'll put it that way. When you do try to work with them and showcase, there's a complete difference on how you approach it. There is option A that you hear about in the most mainstream, affirmative action, identity politics, DEI, that we need to showcase by trying to individualize and pick out somebody to be like, haha, look, we're not racist, and look at what we're doing for this community by finding someone random and putting them in a certain position of power. That is DEI. That is affirmative action, and they may be qualified, they may not be qualified for the position, but to them it doesn't matter because it's more about putting someone in there to showcase them. The real facade of what Democrats and progressives have done in this whole battle against identity politics and the battle for equality that's no longer about equality, but it's about equity. And I find that extremely dangerous. If you don't know the difference in term, you should probably look that up in a dictionary and Google it because equity is something that we should be, to say the least, very concerned about when we're trying to define a human being by saying that you have particular value because someone set a value on you, especially when it's the government. But there is a difference to that, to option B, which is what conservatives try to do, which is what the Republican Party tries to do, which is reach out to particular communities by giving them more of a voice. And I want to give you an example. For those that don't know, around the country, being part of the state leadership of the Republican Party here in the state of Kansas, we have different committees. We have the Republican Black Caucus, we have the Republican Hispanic Caucus, we have the Republican Women's Caucus. We have these different groups and committees that are part of our state leadership and part of our delegates and part of our leadership here in the state to where we can work with those communities. Now, there have been some that try to accuse and say, that's DEI, but it's really not because there's a difference between saying, hey, we have, for an example, a Black Republican caucus to showcase and say, oh, look at us, we have Black Republicans. Aren't you proud of us? That's one way that you can do it, and that would be the progressive way. The conservative way is saying we have a Black Republican caucus because we need to find ways to reach out deeper into that community. How do we reach those voters? How do we talk to them personally? How do we understand what that community is going through right now? How do we understand what's happening within the community to where we can work with them? That's not showcasing them. That's not putting them on a pedestal and saying, oh, we got our group here. Look at that. We're not racist. Because that's what you hear from the other side when they desperately try to find ways to justify their actions by saying, I'm not racist. I have a black friend, right? And that's kind of what Democrats do. What we try to do is, hey, we have a committee because I want to figure out how to reach their community. We have a Spanish radio station, right, just a couple rooms down from where I'm sitting right now. And Republicans very rarely reach out to Hispanic communities. Republicans very rarely actually go into the Hispanic communities and talk about ideas and talk about our values and what we believe in and what we do. When our congressmen started running radio ads on the Spanish station, their phones were blowing up. Because people said, oh my gosh, a Republican's actually reaching out to us. A Republican's actually trying to communicate with our community, and we're very receptive with it. Because the majority of Hispanics, very conservative, very family-oriented, want to work hard, very diligent to what they want to do, and that's fantastic. And we want to showcase that, right? Big difference. Big difference between affirmative action, DEI, and reaching out to particular communities. And that's what we have to do, and that's what Donald Trump has done overall. And he's really allowed us to break into different communities more so than what we have been able to in the past. If you remember, under the Bush administration, under the attempted Mitt Romney administration, under, even all the way back when, it's been very difficult for Republicans to reach to minority communities because for whatever reason, we just don't go and talk to them. We just say, hey, you know what? That's a washout. We just don't even pay attention to it. It's a write-off. We're going to go and focus on the demographics that we know we can win, and that's very difficult to do because those demographics are changing. And if conservatives, and this is my message to you as a Republican voter and as a conservative, is that my message to you is that we have to continue on that trend long after Donald Trump's gone and out of office, when that guy was accused of every name in the book, including being the ultimate racist, and he was far from that with every history that he's shown even before getting into politics, that he was the farthest thing from a racist. We have to continue on and do what Donald Trump has worked really hard at doing, which is reaching out to all communities and saying, look, this is what conservatism is, which, to be fair, Donald Trump's not the biggest one to be like, this is conservatism, and talks about the philosophy or the Constitution. He doesn't do that. He just says, I'm going to work with you, and we're going to make your life better. And we can do that through constitutional principles. So through the populist movement Donald Trump's created, that we've been able to at least promote a conservative agenda. I'd say that's pretty good, right? But we have to continue that on, and we have to do better at that. But that's why right now, Hispanic populations, black populations, all of these identity politics groups have been growing in popularity under the Republican umbrella, supporting someone like Donald Trump more so than they've supported Republicans in the past. And we got to continue that trend on, because we don't just put up the icon and say, look at this, we're not racist because we're putting you in a position of power. We're saying, what can we do to actually make your community better? So Alice Johnson rocked it there at that speech. Donald Trump holding the event today, supporting Black History Month, supporting the way that we can actually work with every community. And that's why the communities absolutely love Trump. And I think it's really cool. Speaking of someone who tries to hype up on the identity politics bandwagon to try and promote their political agenda.
What's trending today?
Sohan Mamdani. When we come back, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll chat about him. He has now officially proposed his city budget for the city of New York. Yeah. How do you think that one's turning out? You can imagine already. Now, he's only been in office since, December? So January, February. He's only been, about 2 months. And he's proposed his city budget to the council. Remember, that has to also go through the state legislature and the governor because of how big of an influence New York City is to the state overall. But he is now given 2 ultimatums. Are they the right ones? And what do those look like? We'll cover that when we come back around the corner for The Voice of Reason on a Wednesday.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of The Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right? I will pull you plethora of examples. I'm going to get my team in that room to start going through the internet of radical Democrats throughout the years, Ed, who have accused this president falsely of being a racist. And I'm sure there's many people in this room and on network television across the country who have accused him of the same. In fact, I know that because I've seen it with my own eyes. And the president very much looks forward to having an event later this afternoon at 3 p.m. to celebrate Black History Month and to talk about how his policies are advancing opportunity and prosperity for all Americans through record tax cuts, through the Trump accounts that all Americans can access regardless of race. These are a great thing for the next generation of Americans. The president has also awarded hundreds of millions of dollars in additional funding to strengthen educational outcomes at historically black colleges and universities across the country.
Okay, so that was Caroline Levitt today. That's got to be a joke question, right? Where do you think that Donald Trump was falsely accused of racism? That's never happened. That's got to be a joke question, because if it's not, man, the lunacy on the other side, where everything's on video now. I'm not sure if they're aware or not. There's this cool new technology called audio recordings and podcasting and the interweb, where things that have been said and done are on video and on audio, and you can archive them and save them to play them back later. And for years, calling Donald Trump a racist, years saying that he was bigoted against black people and Hispanics and everything else. For years, that's all they did. It was a mainstream assumed talking point from the other side of the aisle and from the media. Now they're like, where do you think that he's been falsely accused? It's got to be a joke, man. Got to be. Come on. I want to tell you about my friends over at Lean. Everybody's talking about weight loss right now. Don't give up on your New Year's resolution. Just don't do it. Weight loss injections are huge right now because the results have been really dramatic, and they just work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. What if you're looking to lose the weight but not be interested in the painful weekly injections, or if you've heard about some of the intense side effects that could be happening as well? That's why doctors created the weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're just not as hungry. But Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for the frustrated dieter that wants to lose 10 pounds or more. Let's get you started right now with my listeners by getting 20% off on your first order and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to TakeLean.com. TakeLean.com. Enter the promo code REASON, REASON, for your discount. Again, go to TakeLean.com and use the promo code REASON. Do it with me. I've been using it. I feel great, and let's do this journey together. All right, so I want to go for just a moment up to New York City, where we have Zohran Mamdani, the ultimate racist up there, that said that we're now going to impose property taxes on white communities because black communities are, again, victims, just like the whole SAVE Act and the voter ID thing, that minority communities, Hispanics and blacks and women apparently are too poor and too stupid to figure out how to get a state-issued ID so you can go and actually vote and use your civic duties. That's been the argument for a long time. And they're not using that word anymore, even though they're really trying to do it. It's the same message. It's just different messaging. But they're still saying that minority communities are just too poor and too stupid to figure out how to do a state-issued ID that you use for everything else in your life, but they don't want it for voter IDs because there's a alternative motive there. But they can't come out and say the ulterior motive. So with the SAVE Act, that, by the way, is still lingering in the Senate right now, the battle with John Thune that won't talk about or force a filibuster vote by Democrats and force them to do that, they just won't, that we need to address this issue. But they still say they're representing minority communities. And they say they're doing it by converting a lot of the taxes, a lot of the power away from these communities and putting the burden onto quote-unquote white rich communities and evil corporations and whatever else they like to talk about. Mom Donnie has proposed his official city budget. We'll break some of that down in a minute. Plus, Rachel Ehrenfeld will be on the program with the Soros agenda. What does that look like with the deep state battling against Donald Trump?
Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. Great to have you today for a Wednesday. It is the middle of the week and a Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
That's right. We are moving right on through, man. It flies right on by. So much to cover and so little time to do it. Trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. You can find the information at HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. Our social media handle is the same on all of our social media sites. And, of course, if you want the podcast, which we are killing it on podcast downloads, thank you for that. Just find us at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. We also have some really, really cool announcement for this program with some more radio affiliates around the country that will be joining us here relatively soon. All right, real quick, and this will lead up into our guest here for the program.
What's trending today?
I teased the Zohran Mamdani, the mayor of New York City, who has officially proposed his budget for the city at a grand total of $127 billion.
Say what?
According to Fox News, to put that into perspective, that is $10 billion, yes, you heard that right, with a B, $10 billion more than the entire budget for the state of Florida.
Say what?
I know. Now, again, to put this into perspective, New York City has roughly 8.5 million people. Within like the city limits of actual New York City, not all the suburbs and everything else, 8.5 million. The state of Florida as a whole has 23 million people. So 3 times more the population, but Zohran Mamdani wants $10 billion more than the entire budget for the state of Florida. And his argument is that obviously we need a whole bunch of socialist free goodies, right? We got to do that. Free buses, free grocery stores, free this, free that. It's like an Oprah show every day. Free goodies for everybody. And if you don't support it, he has come up with 2 alternatives. Either number 1, we tax the wealthy, rich, evil corporations because, well, they're evil, rich corporations and evil white people, or we put a 9.5% increase in property taxes on everybody, which he says is a last alternative, but he does that to try and scare Governor Kathy Hochul and, by the way, the state legislature, who needs to approve a lot of the budgetary issues and spending for the city of New York because of how big that city actually is, and says those are the alternatives. Option A, option B. Typical Democrat progressive, right? Not give you all the options because there is a third option, which is, I don't know, cut your spending in your budget and make it a little more transparent and cut out all the fluff and fraud out of it. That's not an option to him. You either have option A, option B. Raise taxes on super evil rich people or raise taxes on everybody. We don't want to raise taxes on everybody, so the only other option is to raise taxes on evil rich people. This is what he had to say at a press conference earlier.
This is a preliminary budget. This is a budget that reflects the only tools that the city has at its disposal. When we are speaking about property taxes, that is a tool of very last resort. We believe it should be viewed as such, not only because it is a broken property tax system, but also because this is a fiscal crisis that was not created by working and middle-class New Yorkers. It should not be placed on their backs in order for the city to resolve it. That is why we will continue to spend each and every day through this budget process, emphasizing the need to chart out the course of the first path.
Okay, so the first path, which is tax the evil rich people. Where are we at with this? Of course, the city council for New York and the legislature and the governor and everybody else has to be part of this conversation. Hopefully they do what every good governmental body does when a governor or a mayor presents their budget, is they toss it into the request bin in the corner of the office and they do their own thing. But is there something deeper going on behind the scenes?
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
That's right. Really happy to have on the program. It's been a while since we've had her on. She's the author of the book, The Soros Agenda. How much is the Soros family and some of this dark money in society playing in some of these actions that are happening in society today? Dr. Rachel Ehrenfeld. Rachel, how are you, my friend?
I live in New York.
Oh, you get to deal with this stuff then, yeah.
It would have been nice if the snow that we had, 3 weeks ago, almost a month, had been cleaned,
Yeah.
That would have been very nice. But it wasn't. If all the garbage and all the homeless, and I mean, we had 19 people froze to death outside, and some 7 people died actually at home or more. And so Mamdani's reaction was, so many people die at home every day.
Wow.
That's
insane.
this place is really will be. I don't know what will be left of it when Mandami is done for the first term. I don't know. He may be re-elected. I don't know how many people will be left. Everybody who can will probably try to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
not
insane.
everybody.
Rachel, how in the world did someone like Mamdani get in there? I know the young vote. I know that the millennials and the Gen Zers. I'm a millennial myself, so I'm sorry. But the millennials.
The majority of workers did not vote.
Why?
Only 1 million people, about 1 million people voted. And many of them apparently, or the majority, voted for Mamdani. But most people in New York did not participate in the election, did not vote, and so, yeah, it's hard to complain, especially for those who didn't vote.
Yeah.
But they were sure that, this is a done deal, even before the election, because of the amount of money that was that facilitated this election. Yeah. And it's not only organizations like the Soros Foundations, which certainly helped, and other left organizations, NGOs, charities, but there was a lot of Qatari money involved. So, maybe you can ask Qatar to fund the city too, since that's he wants to celebrate, all kind of Muslim celebrations. So I will not be at least surprised if that actually happens.
I've heard, and I've seen videos online about, speaking of the Muslim thing, which everybody can practice their own religion. I don't really care. But when they start forcing it more in the public square, I find it kind of interesting. I've seen videos of the siren or the bell or whatever it is at the right time for the Muslims to pray in the mornings and throughout the day. Is that happening in the public squares now?
Well, they can pray anywhere they want, apparently, disturb traffic and everything, which they have been doing throughout Europe and starting to do here, and it should be stopped. And there are all kind of, there are many, actually, they can practice their religion as much as anybody.
Yeah.
But as you said, not force it on anyone else. And so first thing he did, I think the first day, was disband the Office to Fight Anti-Semitism, where anti-Semitism is actually increasing in New York all the time. So this is not good because they first come from the Jews, but very quickly they go after the Christians.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
No, it's not. It's really not. Talk about, for just a moment, let's go out a little bit. Let's talk about not only New York City, but the Trump administration, the country as a whole right now. The transition from George Soros to his son, Alex Soros, who seems to be a lot more politically engaged. We saw him at the White House throughout the Biden administration quite a bit. How much influence do the Soroses still have in society right now, do you think?
Unfortunately, a lot, because the influencing society by the Soros Foundation, by the Soros money, started back in the mid-90s, and they have done a lot of work. They have trained many of the people who are, or even the parents of the people who are marching today, are going to march against ICE, etc., and have been funding them too. They are not the only one. But not everybody has been funded directly, but indirectly, absolutely. And there are new organizations every day. So this is against Trump and against America and against ICE and against Israel and for Hamas. So this has been going on for a long time. And Alexander Soros is very. The money that is we don't know exactly how much, though there are some investigations and people are looking at the IRS, at the returns, but it's not the whole story, because a lot of money is going sideways, if you want.
Yeah.
It's being laundered through other charities and fund the same causes.
Wow.
So, that should be actually investigated, and I hope that the DOJ looks into who funded and identifies them, and if there is any violation of any law, they should be the violation should be actually prosecuted.
Yeah.
And they should be fined. They should whatever the violation is or whatever the sanctions are, because this will return. We are before the midterm elections, and then there will be the presidential elections. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it now, and we have to identify them now. I know that the FBI has a lot of investigations and a lot to do, but this is something that undermines really the sovereignty of the country, of the country, as well as the executive branch effectiveness in this country. This cannot go on.
Well, and it continues to fund the rabble-rousers as well. You see the Antifa movement and the Watch ICE movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, all these organizations that have funding behind them, where all of a sudden they have all these fully produced and really professional signs and everything that they're doing and all these logos. It's wild to see how quickly this stuff turns around, and you know that money's coming from somewhere. Rachel, hang on the line. We're going to take a hard break here, and I want to talk about that when we come back. The Trump administration earlier has worked on trying to expose some of this dark money and brought up the Arabella funds and the Soros funds and these NGOs that are funding a lot of the behind-the-scenes work. Are we exposing it, and are we getting better at trying to expose it and showcase where that money's coming from? We'll do that when we come back around the corner for your Wednesday on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
When it comes to something like sausage, I know you want the best quality, the best flavor, and the best in services. Andy Hooser here for J&S Smoked Snacks. And it's time for you to try their handcrafted sausage, made in small batches for freshness and seasoned with their signature blends. You won't find anything else like it. Make sure to try their one-of-the-kind dill pickle sausage made with real pickles, or spice things up with my favorite, the jalapeno cheddar sausage. Taste the difference today at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
There's no champion.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy The Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, just welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a Wednesday. We've got a few minutes left as we wrap things up. I want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. As you know, we are going through the 250th birthday of the nation. We want the proper history of this nation, the great Americans that rose up to the challenges of their times, to fight the craziness that was happening at that time that continues to set the tone for America and make America great. What they did then, what we can do now, and how we can put pressure on our elected officials to do the right thing. I want you to go to a website, super simple, super free. Just sign up, and you can figure out exactly what we can do together today, which is takeonesmallstep.com. Takeonesmallstep.com. Together, we can all take one small step as Americans to continue to make America great with our friends over at Americans for Prosperity. Again, takeonesmallstep.com. All right, we are hanging out right now. Great conversation with Rachel Ehrenfeld. She is the author of The Soros Agenda. You can find it on Amazon, other places as well. We talk about dark money and the deep state. Are they being exposed? I remember it was during all the chaos in Seattle and Portland, and we had seen some independent journalists that were assaulted by Antifa and by these Black Lives Matter people, and now it's the Watch ICE that are just going absolutely crazy. And there was a hearing, a panel discussion really with the Trump admin, that Donald Trump was there talking to these independent journalists and showing the exposing of the money that was behind them through NGOs, non-governmental organizations, and through the Soros and through the Arabella funding and all this other stuff. Rachel, as you follow this and you've been tracking the Soros family for a long time, are they getting exposed, do you think, more so than before? And is there something that we can do about it? Because now we know what's kind of going on behind the scenes.
They are not the only one, and yeah, there are some reports about funding, but as I said before, we don't know the whole scope of the funding. They've been involved with many organizations directly and indirectly. Major funding also comes from Neville Roy Stingham. It's an American billionaire who lives in Shanghai, in China.
Yeah.
And he has been pouring huge amounts of money also to the Communist Party of America, actually, or what they call themselves, the Socialist, Socialism and Liberation Party, and all kind of organizations that are affiliated with this with the Singham organization. Also, his wife is funding Code Pink, which have been organizing the demonstrations, the pro-Hamas, anti-Israel demonstrations everywhere. Soros have been doing that too, but Soros foundations directly, indirectly. But Singham has been pouring a lot of money into it, as well as the Qataris. The Congress has held some hearings. We're supposed to hold more hearings. Now they are out, of course. But there should have been more hearings. But the hearings don't mean, okay, so we will find out a few things. But at the time that the hearings will last for a couple of hours, there will be already new organizations that somebody else will be funding.
Can we stop it? Can we just end funding for NGOs? And I know that doesn't solve all the problem, but I mean, how do we actually put a stop to this stuff?
We should. First of all, we should disallow foreign funding of NGOs. So any money from China, from Turkey, from Qatar will stop. Okay?
Yeah.
From the UN, from the EU, will not be allowed. Because these entities are actually funding demonstrations and really upheaval in the United States.
Sure.
So that should be by law forbidden, and there should be. I don't know why NGOs should actually be tax exempt in this country. I think one of the ways to try and control it more, although those who want to fund the destruction of the United States will continue to give money, but it will be more difficult to operate and claim that they are charities.
Yeah.
That's it.
Very interesting. We have a lot of work to do here, and like you said, we're in the first stage, which is exciting. We're at least moving in the right direction, exposing it, letting people know what's going on. But we have a lot of work that we can do about it. Obviously, we can't even pass the SAVE Act right now in Congress, so I'm sure it's going to be difficult for us to pass the ending of NGOs. But by golly, we are trying it. Rachel, we are out of time, my friend. The Soros Agenda. Go and check out the book online at Amazon, other places. Got to get you back on, and let's do it again real soon, my friend.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, always a pleasure. I love it. Rachel Ehrenfeld, go find her. And the Soros Agenda is the book. Man, we got to expose it. We got to fix this stuff. It's going to be a work in progress. But can you imagine how much money we could be saving when we're not funding crazy NGOs to do the bidding of, well, one particular side of the aisle? Back at it again tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of